Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Baudet, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening. The Transport Minister demands accountability after today's deadly train collision in Pretoria. A massive consignment of cocaine stopped by the Hawks as part of an international crime-fighting operation. And as the ANC turns 107, the current and former presidents of the party put up a united front. Let's start here. 3 people have been confirmed dead after 2 trains collided at a station in Pretoria this morning. Over 600 people are injured. Authorities are now investigating how the accident could have happened between 2 trains travelling in the same direction. Well, Linda Kuhle joins us now in the studio. Good evening to you, Linda. Thank you very much for coming in. You were at that accident. Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, what we understand from the officials there from Metro Rail is that one of the trains, in fact, was stationary at that particular station in the Mountain View station, and the other one came from Mabopane and was heading to that direction, but in the same railway. And that is when the stationary, in fact, the moving train collided with the stationary train. And what happened there was that there was life lost, as you have said, 3 lives lost, and 11 people, we understand, are in critical condition. But in totality, there is 640 people that were injured.
Gosh, I mean, it really is absolutely shocking, and even more shocking because we've had a spate of these deadly train accidents. And let's just take a listen to the Transport Minister who was at the site just a little bit earlier this evening, and let's listen to exactly what he had to say. Of course, he is calling for accountability, and fast.
How come we are spending so much money on security, yet we continue having this cable theft? We are not saying that the criminals must get away with murder, but we are spending such a lot of money and it looks like it's business as usual. These security companies have been taking hundreds of millions of rands from our Metro Rail, but there isn't a big difference that is seen. Cape Town, it was the same story. Cameras were supposed to be put in, they have not been working for years. I am demanding accountability this time. I've said to the chair of the board, I want an answer within the next few days as to what action is being taken to deal with security.
He's saying that it's cable theft that's the cause, but do we actually know the cause?
Well, at the moment, they're suspecting, in fact, that before investigations, this was caused by theft, in fact, of the material that Metro Rail uses to actually try and monitor their trains. And they're saying that because of this theft, they have to resort to a more manual way of, doing things. And what they were explaining was that each and every train driver had to stop at a certain traffic light and therefore be informed that he can indeed go there. But even those who are giving that directive, how do they know that there is a train there?
So the risk of human error just escalates exponentially.
Very, very much so.
Has the route been opened yet? Do we know?
The route will not be opened, we understand. In fact, it will be kept shut. But one more thing I think I can add onto the fact that the minister has been saying that security companies, he's been mentioning theft and all of that. But in fact, tomorrow will mark 1 year since an incident last year happened where the Shosholoza made and 19 lives in fact were lost. Yes. Now this is almost at the same time. A year later we are experiencing the same thing, but when you blame such things as a theft and all of that and security companies, then it brings the question of what has been improved upon in terms of protecting the lives of those that commute with this.
Indeed, and where the true accountability must lie. Thank you very much, Linda Kuhle telling us about that terrific train accident. 3 people died today. Well, the second biggest cocaine bust in South African history was made today in Port Elizabeth. The Hawks intercepted cocaine with a street value of 720 million rand. And our reporter, Sandy McCowan, has the details.
This is 2-year-old Kiki, and she is the hero of this important drug bust. Acting on a tip-off from Brazilian authorities, the Hawks sent in Kiki and her handler Devin Oosthuizen to investigate a cargo ship. It docked at the port of Ngqura yesterday, carrying the cocaine. Kiki's heightened senses and a well-trained nose picked up the scent within 20 minutes.
The cargo was concealed at the bottom of a floor of a ship below more than 3,669 containers, which is 30 level deep. So it was at the floor, at the bottom.
The Hawks say they've been working on this bust for the past 12 days. With no one arrested yet, the Hawks say investigations will continue with cooperation from all the other countries involved.
As you'll understand that the cartel themselves will not be traveling with the ship. So they loaded the cargo from as far as Brazil, where this thing started, and it is destined for India.
Forensics will examine the drugs before the consignment is destroyed to ensure it doesn't end up on our streets. Sandy McCowan, Port Elizabeth.
Well, the ANC has been celebrating 107 years today. And in a show of unity, both President Ramaphosa and former President Zuma appeared together at the party event in KwaZulu-Natal today. This, of course, amid concern that supporters of the former president could heckle Ramaphosa during his official January 8 statement, which is due this coming weekend in Durban. Aldrin St-Pierre reports.
It became immediately clear that this could turn into a popularity contest, especially amid the constant comparison between the two. This has become a rare sight since the Nasrec conference, which could have prompted ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa's 4-minute-long soliloquy on his relationship with his predecessor.
Ngoba kunakuthethisana between mina no Ncamalala sizwana kahle nje.
A year since taking over from, quote, the mastermind, here is a snippet of what that year was.
Where we are called upon to restore the movement after a period in which our organizational capacity diminished somewhat. As we mark the second January 8th celebration since the landmark 54th conference, we can declare with confidence that both the ANC and the country have entered a new era of renewal.
However, a portion of the speech on corruption, state capture and the restoration of the credibility of the state was omitted. And while everyone at the table was called on to greet the crowd, the former president was denied that opportunity.
What I've noticed is a very interesting strategy to make Jacob Zuma a mascot in this rally. A person who could not talk, but who was there. And, you know, the crowd wanted Jesus to say something. But him being a mascot, he could not say anything.
Whatever may be at play, whether it is here, at the church or on the streets, Ramaphosa has strategically positioned himself to be seen next to those who didn't endorse his campaign. Aldrin St-Pierre, Durban.
Back to school tomorrow, but it will be impossible to place all learners. Now, that's the message from the Gauteng Education Department. They say more than 300,000 online registrations were submitted on time. Most pupils have already been placed, but thousands of learners are still uncertain about their academic year because of late registrations. Yanka Torme has the details.
On Wednesday, these school grounds will be buzzing with pupils as the 2019 academic year gets underway. Many teachers and officials have been hard at work to ensure teaching and learning starts on the first day without delays.
Come 8:15, we will be in classes with the teachers teaching vigorously. Our lesson plans are ready. We are going to be interacting with curriculum with our learners.
But thousands of learners will not be putting on their school uniforms just yet. The Gauteng Department of Education says about 16,000 applicants who applied late have been provisionally placed. But these will only be finalized when their documents have been submitted. Still, the biggest concern is parents walking into district offices and applying for the first time.
If you come to the department for the first time today and you expect your child to sit on a desk tomorrow, to be taught by a teacher, to get a textbook, to get a meal, to be transported to school, it's practically impossible. Practically impossible.
About 860 schools still have space. Learners will continue to be placed in the various classrooms until the beginning of next month. Officials say they will do what they can to ensure learners are not disadvantaged if they miss the first 2 weeks. Janke Tomei, Johannesburg.
Still ahead on eNews, emotional farewells as the 4 Mpumalanga children allegedly killed by their mother are laid to rest. To Mpumalanga now, where a shattered Emalahleni family said their final goodbyes today. The 4 Maditla children, allegedly killed by their mother, have been laid to rest. The murders of the siblings, aged between 11 months and 8 years, have left the community of Clarinet reeling. Their 24-year-old mother now faces 4 counts of premeditated murder and is due to apply for bail next week. The children's family is devastated by the tragedy, but they're appealing for leniency for the young mother. Firefighters are still battling a fire in the Overberg region just outside Cape Town. The fire started in Betty's Bay on New Year's Eve. It's alleged the fire broke out when a flare was set off during celebrations. Authorities now say the blaze is 80% contained. The blaze has razed 7,000 hectares of land to the ground. Cattle farmers in some parts of Limpopo have been dealt a blow. The Department of Agriculture has quarantined an area in Vembe after tests showed foot and mouth disease. The viral disease affects cattle, pigs, sheep and goats, but not humans. The World Organization for Animal Health has been informed. South Africa has now temporarily lost its foot and mouth disease-free status while further tests are being done. Exports are not as yet affected. Across our border now, and Mozambicans living in South Africa want their former finance minister, Manuel Chang, to come clean. Chang appeared briefly in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court for his alleged involvement in a controversial $2 billion loan. Now, he was a key player in the transaction that was intended to fund a coastal protection project in Mozambique. And our reporter Kailitla Kumalo has the details.
The States versus Manuel Chang. Former Mozambican finance minister, once a powerful man in South Africa's neighboring country. Chang was arrested at OR Tambo International Airport in transit to Dubai. He was on Interpol's wanted list, labeled a primary fugitive and central actor in a large international fraud. The US had sought his provisional detention pending the presentation of an extradition request and supporting documents. In court, Chang cut a loan figure. The probe on him started in 2016, looking into a series of financial transactions, including a $2 billion loan secured from Credit Suisse and other finance houses, referred to as a hidden debt. These Mozambicans say the stolen funds must be paid back.
We really want our money back because we understand that if it was something to benefit the ordinary people of that country, that means it shouldn't have been a secret. But you have to understand that that was a secret. It was beyond acknowledgement of the majority of the population in Mozambique.
Some also want former President Armando Guebuza held accountable since the loan was made during his presidency. The case resumes on Wednesday, and for now, Chang will remain in custody. Kailitla Kumalo, Kempton Park.
We'll go to Candice at our weather centre for your live weather report. And then Hyundai unveils a concept car that could take you off the beaten track. Time to get your weather from Cape Town, but it's not Candice, it's Joel. You do look very different. I don't know how I mistook you. How's the weather looking?
Well, Sally, I guess it's the stormy weather that you're going to be driving home to after this evening in Gauteng that has messed up with your mind. Now, we're going to stay with unsettled weather tonight for the eastern areas, with thunderstorms having become severe in some places, especially over the northwest, Gauteng and Mpumalanga. And we're going to start off Wednesday with thundershowers persisting over parts of northeastern South Africa. And we will also be seeing some thundershowers over parts of the Eastern Cape. Then in the afternoon, very unsettled weather is forecast for the southern parts of the country and across eastern South Africa. It will be mostly fine for the Northern Cape. Then in the evening, we stay with isolated thundershowers across the Eastern Cape as well as over KwaZulu-Natal and much of eastern South Africa. Now, let's take it closer to your part of the country. It's going to be mostly sunny and hot on Wednesday over much of the Northern Cape, Appington and Priska, peaking at around 35 degrees. We are expecting partly cloudy and dry conditions for much of the Western Cape, Cape Town warming to around 26. A bit of rain, however, over parts of the south coast, and thundershowers are forecast around Beaufort West. Much of the Eastern Cape will be pretty unsettled on Wednesday, with warm to hot temperatures expected for much of the interior and severe thunderstorms for the eastern areas. KwaZulu-Natal should also see thundershowers, and top temperatures here will lie mostly in the upper 20s and lower 30s. We are expecting similar weather and temperatures across much of Mpumalanga, Mbombela, warming to around 29 degrees. The Limpopo province should also see thunderstorms on Wednesday, and it's going to stay sizzling hot for much of the province. We are also going to see thundery showers for the eastern half of the northwest, Zeerust and Rustenburg, peaking at around 34 degrees on Wednesday afternoon. The eastern parts of the Free State should also see unsettled weather, so will Zastron with a high of around 29 degrees. We are also expecting thunderstorms across the Gauteng province, where highs in the lower 30s are forecast for your Wednesday afternoon. Now, looking ahead to your Thursday, we are going to be seeing thunderstorms persisting over the eastern areas, rain and thundershowers for the Eastern Cape. And we end the week with mostly sunny and hot weather for Western South Africa and thunderstorms over the east. That's all from me, Sally. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Joel Guy in Cape Town. And finally, it's rather nice to have an off-road vehicle, but just imagine a car that can tackle really rocky terrain. Well, Hyundai has revealed its latest concept car, and it doesn't run on wheels, it walks. The Hyundai Elevate has legs, which allows it to go where there are no roads by trekking or climbing over difficult terrain. It can even cross rivers and climb stairs. And with the legs folded under the vehicle, the Elevate is able to travel at highway speeds. Fancy that. Let's recap your top stories this evening. The Transport Minister demands accountability after today's deadly collision. Massive consignment of cocaine stopped by the Hawks as part of an international crime-fighting operation. As the ANC turns 107, the current and former presidents of the party put up a united front. From me and the team, it's a very good night.